How are you doing, everybody? Ready for another game? And in this game, we actually have two Mayan players going at it. And it is, I know it's a mirror matchup, and lots of people don't like seeing that, but I figure it's better than Huns, and we're actually on Team Islands, so it's better than Arabia. So it should be something different, so everyone shouldn't be too concerned about the fact that it's used a lot like this. But we'll see how it goes out. So in the blue, we have st4rk, and he is in the bottom corner of the map, and in red we have AngryTestie in the top. I actually don't know if AngryTestie is a alias for someone, but if actually in any of my videos, if you see aliases of anybody, point them out in the comments, because then I'll just use them from pretty much then on. So standard build here, we'll go into it, we'll see quite a few villages come out, and then naturally we'll go into the Grush. Whether or not anyone, well, most likely, because these islands are so big, you're going to actually have to land on their base to get rid of them. However, losing the water control in this map is a big deal, because as you can see, there is a lot of fish out in the sea, and fish naturally means fishing ships, and fishing ships mean a good source of income. So, if we look at the map, though, quickly, we can see that st4rk behind him, he actually has this big area here which is completely done with fish. So I actually wouldn't be too surprised if he puts a dock back here, but that means as well, if he puts a dock at the back of his island, he's going for more of a passive grush, which means that he's not going to be able to get ships out here very early. But it will be a lot easier to defend off his fishing ships. For those who don't know, grush is actually the term for galley rush, which is basically you just get up into feudal, and usually around 30 population actually, maybe even more than that. I have seen something like 37 done before, but you know, that's a combination of villages and fishing ships, so it's not too bad. So generally you just go straight up into feudal and just absolutely spam galleys and try and get water control, because water control is oh so important in this game. And with Team Islands as well, how close your resources are to the actual edge of the map is really important too, because when you can get harassed by galleys from the sides, it's actually really important. So this gold over here could potentially be harassed by galleys from here, which means that this gold here is not as safe as it could be. Whereas if we look at AngryTestie's gold, he could actually be harassed there too. There's potential there, and on his berries actually, and this stone and this lumber over here. He has a lot of potential to be sniped from the shoreline. But he does have a lot of resources in, so let's actually have a look quickly. We should probably have a look for relics as well while I'm at it. See, we got one on st4rk anymore. Can't really see any. It could just be because I'm not paying attention. So 2 on st4rk's island compared to 1, 2... Gonna see a third. Doesn't look like it. So the relics distribution is quite nice, because a lot of the time you do get like 3 on one island and 1 on the other, and that's not a fair, you know, composition. But you know how it goes, this game is fully randomized, so it's never fair, which is really interesting, because it comes down to mostly how you play the map as well. You look at your map and you go, alright, I've got a shit position, I really need to go forward to put as much pressure on him as possible, this way I don't need to wall, but I'll keep him in his base as well. So let's just have a look, and we actually do have the back dock for st4rk right now, which is interesting enough. Like I said, going to the back means generally you're going to be a little bit less aggressive with your galleys. Not saying that you're not going to get some out at the front, but this dock back here, naturally, if it decides to build galleys, they're going to have to come all the way around this side of the map, and naturally they're going to have to do quite a bit of a push before you're actually able to get into the fighting line. So essentially you're going to be down one dock, but in that you do gain a lot of extra security for your fishing ships, and that's generally good to have, just because of the fact they're going to be less harassed. And the question is right now, is he going to put more docks up at the back, or is he going to start going up at the front? And if he does, if he goes right up here, we're going to see quite a big fight for this little area of territory here, because this is where most of the docks will be going up. So probably a good idea just to check the scouting right now. AngryTestie scouted most of his island. If we just turn Fog of War off there, we can see that he hasn't gone the whole way. Just needs to come down here a bit, and you'll find these gold piles here. And again, these gold piles, again, going to be able to be sniped from the water, so it is really important that AngryTestie does get this. However, for st4rk as well, he has this main one here and here and here, which should be safe. But this stone mine and this gold mine here should as well. So it's not as important for st4rk. I'm not saying it's not important to get the water control, but it really is, it comes down to the fact that you need it. You can either land really early or you can do whatever the hell you want. But, so we've got lots of docks coming up in the back right now for st4rk, which is interesting, so like I said, it's going to be a lot less passive, well, a lot more passive. And AngryTestie going out with 3 docks towards the front, and the galley production has begun. Both players up in feudal, of course, which is the reason they can get out galleys, and I believe it was about a 10-40 minute expand, well, not expand, but advance, which is good. So we can see lots of villages getting transferred over to gold now for both players, because that gold production is really important, because without the gold you're not going to be able to get those galleys out, which you need oh so much. So galleys at the moment for AngryTestie, I actually want to watch this, because naturally you would expect the dock to come up on this side opposed to your opponent. So when you see the fact that your opponent isn't at the back, it means you know he's going a lot more passive. And that means generally the fact you can get that water control a lot earlier, but it also means your opponent's going to be able to build up his fleet behind here, and until you get around here, there's not a lot you're going to be able to do about it. And here we see exactly why. These two have only just made it, and these ones here have got out. These fishing ships back here have been pretty much safe the whole time. Going to deer there, that's generally a standard thing on team islands. And lots of galleys getting produced right now for Testie. st4rk does have the advantage right now, but I believe that AngryTestie does have more galleys in play. 9 for AngryTestie, and what do we got for st4rk? st4rk on 9 as well, so it's quite even. We can see there's two blobs over here. st4rk trying to defend this entryway here, which means that he's going to be able to keep these fishing ships safe, of course, unless they get sandwiched between the other way. But at the moment, you're going to want to keep your galleys together because you don't have a lot. And there we see the micromanagement, the split from those galleys there. And of course, splitting just allows them to get out of the way of that arrow fire coming in from your opponent, and it allows you to pretty much get off a lot more hits and take a lot less damage. So that's the main goal there. And AngryTestie actually not attacking too much at the moment. Like I said, the galleys are pretty much even, so the reason he's going to win. And looks like he might slip through here. He has slipped through. He's going to be able to pick off these fishing ships. And here we go. 1, 2, 3. And this is really big. Being able to pick off your opponent's fishing ships like this and getting the free kills is even bigger right now. So he's getting these free kills. As long as he can get these galleys out, he will be safe. However, these ones over here, it looks like he's going to miss them, and he's going out. No. So he's killed off 4, 5, 6. Go for the last one. 7. No, just missing that one. Is he going to go for it? No, he's backing out. Good call. And he actually did not lose a galley in that entire attack. And that right there was enough to push the scores up to an even standing. So we can see that Testie playing really well right now, using his head, thinking as much as he can. And if these villagers here aren't careful as well, they could also potentially be picked off by these galleys. And are we going to see these galleys go for it? Looks like he's not going to go for it there. It would have probably been good, but what can you do? And AngryTestie being outdone here in the galley supply due to the fact that half of his galleys are across the map right now. So st4rk can push in through here, and that's exactly what he's going to do. If I move that quickly, I'll get rid of that. So AngryTestie taking quite a big lead at the moment, currently up by 400 points, which is a lot, but st4rk is going up, AngryTestie is not. So as well on maps like this when you're grushing, it's really important to get up before your opponent. Not as important as it is to outmass, of course, but once you get up, you can get that war galley upgrade. And once you get the war galley upgrade, your opponent is going to be on the back foot because you're going to have that advantage. And nobody wants to be going into a fight with a disadvantage. So there's the main reason there. So both ships, of course, do have that fletching upgrade, which is really important. But if we look right now, we can see that AngryTestie has actually landed on his opponent's side, which is something we don't see a lot. But coming into 21 minutes of the game, that's really important. It's a big deal at the moment. I'm actually going to check st4rk, and I don't believe... No, he has not seen it. He does not see it coming. He currently only has 1 archery range down and a barracks. So he's not going to be able to completely go. And most likely that archery range was put down so he could advance. But he's got the market there as well. So that shows that. And he would have the blacksmith somewhere actually because of that. Let's have a look. Blacksmith. There it is. So he did have more than enough to advance. So having the archery range up, it does say to me that he wants to land, because of the fact he's got these military production buildings out already, which is something you generally don't have. And I'm just going to pause it for a sec, so I want to jump over here and have a good look at this. So we see the double range come down house as well. Always important to keep those villages on the front they go up. And st4rk is still behind, even though he's up in castle. AngryTestie has not advanced, however. When he advances up, he is going to go behind and score. And most likely st4rk's going to be able to boom quite well right now. However, the main thing that's going to get him is if he's not prepared for this archer flush down here. And st4rk does have production of some archers in queue, or at least there was. So he is getting quite a... No, how many is he producing there? Just a few. Can't really see a lot. And there we go. So the transport ship has gone down. So he does want to land. Both players want to land right now. But if st4rk doesn't pay attention to this, he could be in a lot of trouble. These archers are still kiting across all the way over here. And until he recognizes this threat over here, there's not a lot he's going to be able to do to absolutely do it. Eagle Warrior being brought in, of course having that good pierce armor, but at the moment it's going to get taken down fairly easily. Surprised he hasn't finished off that Eagle Warrior. There we go, finishing that off there. AngryTestie going up now. So we see the war galley upgrade there from st4rk, and AngryTestie doing the smart thing and retreating off with these galleys until they go up to war galleys. We're going to see crossbow from both players, and looks like we're seeing another town center go up for st4rk and another one here. So the 3 town center boom looks like it's going to be in play. Are we going to see 3 town centers from AngryTestie, or is he just going to keep pushing? Looks like AngryTestie is going to continue to push on through here and spend a lot of his resources into cutting down his opponent. Now the thing is though, since he's operating off 1 town center and his opponent's operating off 3, he has to kill villages enough to make that 3 town center advantage, well the 2 town center advantage that he's got over him, enough to pretty much make it invalid. So he's going to have to get quite a few kills. And AngryTestie coming up through here, he's going to be able to get it. Haven't seen fire ships or demolition ships from either player yet. Of course, not saying they're very common at all. Siege Workshop going up for AngryTestie, so it's looking like Stark's starting to get into a bad position. Mostly due to the fact he's been landed and these crossbows are going to town on villages wherever they can. As well as the fact, I'm going to pause it quickly because I always like to pause it when I'm checking these, just because you'd miss so much. We have 23 warships for AngryTestie, and we have 21 for Stark, so it doesn't change when you pause. That's interesting enough. But that means it's quite close on the water, so anyone can take it at this stage. It's going to come down to the harassment that AngryTestie can put on Stark, which is something you don't see a lot on this map. Especially, lots of it until about like the 40-minute mark. It goes into Galley Rush, which is really, really interesting. And what do we have down here? We actually have a transport ship back here. Looks like that will be picked off. These fishing ships might be picked off as well. And these archers just looking for something to do right now. And this Mangonel, of course, going to be able to do a lot of damage if he's really careful with it. Plus, we actually have Scorpions out on the field right now. Scorpion, a very, very powerful unit when your opponent lines up like that, because they just do so much damage, especially if you can get them in a head-on position, just because it'll absolutely smash out all 3 of them. Looks like that transport ship is going to survive right now, and AngryTestie is about to pile on the pressure right now by bringing his units forward. But a big Mangonel hit right there for against AngryTestie, but it didn't do as much damage as I thought it would. There are quite a few on low health, but until they get taken out, there's not a lot they're going to do. So AngryTestie really putting on the aggression right now, putting these war galleys up here, attacking these villages, and just killing off all this food supply, which is exactly what you want to do. You want to cut them off as much as possible. Mangonel actually out for AngryTestie right now, so he's going to be able to do a fair bit of damage to these Scorpions, because of course Mangonels do one-shot Scorpions under most conditions. Provided they don't have the Council unique tech on them, of course. And right now there is a lot of damage happening. We do have crossbows in Stark's base. He's currently 600 points behind. He doesn't have a lot he can do with his galleys. And there's Mangonels out on the field, which are going to be able to take out these town centers. However, we do have a castle coming up for Stark, which means he's going to be able to get out those plumed archers. And of course, the castle does outrange those Mangonels. And of course, it's going to be able to take these archers down. So this area here is going to be pretty safe once this castle comes up. And these villages here may be taken out quite quickly by these archers, but it looks like he might try and stop this castle going down. If this castle doesn't go down, it might be it for Stark. And what's it got? A 74% complete. And until these Mangonels anything gets done, and we've actually seen a real absence of military from Stark. He just has not had what it needs to do this. He has put up the town centers to try and outboom, and town centers, of course, being a great defense. But Stark losing a lot of villages right now, and plumed archers under production there, killing off both those Mangonels very quickly. Mangonel here going to be able to do quite a lot of damage to these guys, and Stark has repelled the attack for now. However, he is going to be down on population. He is currently on 81, and AngryTestie on 120, so we are seeing quite a big difference there. But the fact remains that Stark has this castle up, he's got town centers up around his main areas, he's got this partial wall off here down, and he's going to be able to do quite a bit of damage. Eagle Warrior is coming out right now for AngryTestie as well, so he's going to be able to close in, but these plumed archers, of course, going to be able to do a fair amount of damage to those Eagle Warriors at this stage, until they upgrade to Elite and have all those armor upgrades which they need to be successful against archers. And if we swap over, I don't think either player is currently going up. No, neither player is going up to Imperial Age. But it is starting to look really bad for Stark. He's nearly 1,000 points behind. He's getting harassed really badly. All he's really got left is his fleet. He does have quite a few plumed archers out. Well, not even a lot. But he does have those few plumed archers out, which are going to be able to do a fair amount of damage. Of course, I've got those upgrades as well. Neither player has any of the armor upgrades right now. These plumed archers are going to get picked off by these war galleys. So right now, AngryTestie has a massive advantage. He's landed on his opponent's island. He has a complete water advantage, which means his opponent will not be transporting over to his island at any time unless there is something tricky down. And it doesn't look like we're even going to see that. We do have the transport ship actually for Stark, but nonetheless, there's not a lot he can do about it. So taking out all his base over here, we do have the castle up for not Stark, AngryTestie, sorry, I missed that coming up. And that's going to be really important, because it means he's going to be able to get those plumed archers out on this island over here. And of course, there's nothing more dangerous than moving units with a transport ship when your opponent can take it out really easily. Scorpion, of course, showing how much damage it can do here to archers. And good game from AngryTestie, good game from Stark, and Stark has resigned off. AngryTestie was going up to Imperialate. Let's see if Stark... Can't really see the difference there. I don't think it's going to change for me. But the game there was won just by the fact that AngryTestie got the water really early, and he landed really early, so he was able to get that economical harassment on, which is exactly what you want. So, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully it's been a little bit different. I've been trying to bring out different videos recently, either different civs or different maps. I am currently hunting for lots of Mega Random maps, because I absolutely love Mega Random, and I know you guys too. It just shows how well players can play. And I'll see you guys in the next game.